Hey everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com, back again with another quick news update, this time involving the allegations aimed at Roman Reigns and his subsequent response to those allegations. Pro Wrestling Sheet's Ryan Satin is reporting that Reigns has responded to the allegations, which, if you missed our previous news update, revolved around a jailed steroid and performance-enhancing drugs dealer named Richard Rodriguez, who was imprisoned after his gym was raided in 2017. Calling a documentarian from jail, Rodriguez alleged that he had several celebrity clients, one of whom was indeed Roman Reigns. Reigns has responded saying that he has never heard of Rodriguez, he's never heard of the gym that he was operating out of, and that he's learned from his mistakes of 2 years prior. If you remember, in the summer of 2016, Reigns had a wellness policy violation which resulted in a suspension, but he said that since then he's passed 11 of WWE's drug tests. So he says that there's no evidence at all to support Rodriguez's claims, and he's basically denied the whole thing and said that he is lying, he being Rodriguez. If this is indeed true, it'll be tremendous news for WWE. Reigns has of course been built over the past few years as their next top star, their next John Cena, and he is widely reported as well, or widely believed to be headlining his 4th straight WrestleMania. Of course, he faced Lesnar at 31, Triple H at 32, Undertaker at 33, and apparently will face Lesnar again at 34 for the Universal Championship. Had these allegations been true, and we don't know for definite yet, but had they had some sort of substantial evidence behind them, WWE would have been in a lot of trouble and would have had to shift the whole process of the road to WrestleMania around. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter has reported that Goldberg is in talks with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Bloody Goldberg. I mean, Goldberg is heading into the Hall of Fame this year in 2018. He's the only confirmed member so far of the class of 2018, and Meltzer reckons that that means that this whole thing is kind of unlikely. He's not really going to appear in New Japan because he'll have to sign a short deal with WWE, for that induction. It's a very strange one, isn't it? Because New Japan have seen wild success when they brought in Chris Jericho for that match with Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12. It looks like they're keeping Jericho there for a program with Tetsuya Naito, so they're certainly not averse these days to bringing in big Western names. But Goldberg's a very different kettle of fish to Jericho, I think you'll agree. Goldberg is currently 51 years old, which is only 4 years older than Jericho, but as anyone who's seen either of those guys wrestle will know, Goldberg wrestles a very different style. He's known for very fast matches like Smash Mouth, not really in line with the more epic feel of New Japan, whereas Jericho, who has a lot of experience in long feuds and long matches, really did fit that feud with Omega very well indeed. So if New Japan brought Goldberg in, I don't know how they'd use him, but I really doubt it would be in the same vein as Jericho. He could be used, I guess, in feuds with guys who are willing to put him over in shorter matches where he'd just come in, smash someone, get out of there. But Jericho really was in a main event program, and if this Goldberg thing is true, and if Goldberg does indeed sign with New Japan, I can't see it developing in quite that way. So put your fears to rest if you thought New Japan were going to be booking Goldberg in 45-minute epics. I really can't see that happening. And finally, 2 huge departures from Impact Wrestling. EC3 and Bobby Lashley were thought to be definitely heading to WWE once their contracts expired. The 2 guys apparently said their goodbyes at the last round of Impact TV tapings, and according to Meltzer in The Observer, EC3 is pretty much a lock. He's going to be a WWE superstar in the near future, but Lashley apparently has a bit more of a complicated situation. Lashley was, of course, primed to become a big star in WWE about 10 years ago, and then there was a huge falling out, the details of which have never fully emerged, not at least from Lashley's mouth. He's kept quiet about those, although he did acknowledge that there was a big falling out and that it was, kind of that he had no choice but to leave. It's a very curious situation, but since his latest run in Impact, those talks seem to have reopened, those bridges seem to have been mended, and we could see Lashley return. But as Meltzer said, it's not looking as certain as EC3. As well as this troubled background between Lashley and WWE, he's also apparently been in talks with New Japan, although they didn't seem to be very substantial at all from what I read. Meltzer did point out, just out of a hypothetical sort of curious situation, that EC3 would be eligible for the Royal Rumble, but Lashley's contract wouldn't quite have expired in time. That's all for now. Thank you very much for watching this quick news video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Follow me at JackTheJobber on Twitter if you wish. Follow all of us at Cultaholic if you wish. And if you want, do check out our Patreon as well, where there's a system of tiered rewards if you enjoy the content that we produce. One more thing, and I can't remember what it is. Of course I remember what it is. Never ever forget to join us.